Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over the B&W Companion OEM fifth wheel trailer hitch here on a 2021 Chevrolet Silverado 3500. For starters, this is a fixed fifth wheel hitch, but it's also available with a sliding base as well, depending on your trailer and your bed lengths. Now, generally speaking, the long beds are going to be able to use the fixed hitch, whereas the short beds are going to have to use the sliding hitch. However, there are a few exceptions to that, so it's really best to just measure your trailer and the overhang you have on the nose to ensure it's not going to come in contact with the cab. So this particular model of this hitch here is going to be designed for trucks with the factory prep package or the factory puck system, whatever you want to refer to that as. That's just simply the 4 holes on the outside here, and then we have the center hole in the gooseneck. So this is going to be a direct drop-in installation for models with that. Now, if you don't have the prep package or the pucks, you can still use a version of this hitch. It's just going to be a little bit different. It's going to require some more installation underneath. So B&W uses this powder coated gray finish on all their products pretty much, and it looks really good. This is pretty durable. This one's definitely been well used, and there's really only a couple scratches in the top of the skid plate, and a lot of that you can actually prevent with just a good greasing or a good lube plate there. But you can see for the most part, this isn't a new hitch by any means, and it still looks great really. There's only a couple scratches on the skid plate there, but the base still looks good. So overall, this is definitely a very durable fifth wheel hitch, and it's definitely going to last for years to come. That protective coating there is going to protect the metal underneath so there isn't any rust. So in regards to capacity here, with the fixed version, it's offered in 2 different capacities. We have the higher 25K and then we have the lower rated 20K. It really just comes down to your trailer. You want to make sure the capacity of the hitch exceeds the GVWR of the trailer. So there's quite a few different fifth wheel hitch options for your truck out there. This certainly isn't the only one, but if you ask me, this is the best. Now, if you did any in-bed towing before, chances are you're familiar with the B&W brand. They are a highly reputable, definitely a durable, overbuilt, if you will, fifth wheel hitch option. One of the best out there. Now, what makes them the best, there's going to be a couple different things about this Companion in particular. The first one is the jaw design. So if we look inside the actual head itself, for these 2 jaws here, a couple things I'd like to point out. Number one, these things are very, very thick. These are about 1 inch thick each, which is going to create a nice secure connection there. You don't ever have to worry about those breaking. Number 2, it is a dual jaw design that has 360 degrees of contact with the kingpin. So it's going to have a nice snug grip on the kingpin, and basically what this boils down to is this is going to create the best ride possible. Having no movement in that kingpin there inside the jaws there, that means your trailer is not going to be chucking and jarring around, and it's not going to be transferring that into the driver's seat of your truck here. So this nice thick dual jaw design is going to do 2 things. Number 1, it's going to have increased security, and number 2, it's going to make for a much better ride. So something else that really sets apart the B&W Companion from all the other options, that is their cam action handle. So it looks like a standard handle and actually operates one as well. But what this does different than most other fifth wheel hitch handles on the market, this is actually sort of a spring-loaded handle. It has a cam action inside. Now, what that does is, if you've ever tried to uncouple your trailer on a ground that's not completely level, this thing has a lot of tension in it, and most of the times you can't even get it unhooked until you pull forward and find a much smoother surface. The cam action handle here is actually going to serve as kind of an assist, helping you uncouple your trailer on those uneven surfaces. So if you're looking for the lightest weight fifth wheel hitch out there on the market, this certainly isn't it. Not by any stretch of the imagination. They are pretty heavy, and the reason for that is these things are overbuilt. They use very thick steel, very durable powder coating, and that just all adds to weight. So it is going to be a little bit more work to get this fifth wheel hitch in and out of the truck bed than some of the other options. If that's important to you, then maybe you'll want to look in another direction. But if you ask me, I really don't want my fifth wheel hitch to be lightweight. I want this thing to be durable, I want this thing to take a beating, and I want to know that I can trust this thing when we have our expensive trailer on there and our family inside the truck. Now, with that being said, B&W is certainly aware that some people are going to be removing their hitch more than others, and you really don't want to hurt your back getting this thing in and out. Nobody wants to get hurt either. So what they've done is they've actually made for a very easy to remove head. So you can remove this fifth wheel hitch in 2 sections to save your back, make it a little bit more manageable. There is 2 pins on either side here. All you do is simply pull those out like so, And then we have grab handles here, which also release the locks. We'll just simply pull up on those, and we can remove our head entirely from the base. So then when it becomes time to remove the base, we have these large cutouts that act as handles as well that allow you to easily do that. A lot of fifth wheel hitches don't actually have handles built in. You're just kind of left to your own to get them out of the truck bed. And again, although it is heavy, there are some provisions built into this hitch to sort of save your back a little bit. You can break it down into pieces, and there's easy to use handles. So with the Companion here, and a lot of other fifth wheel hitches have this as well. This isn't really a groundbreaking feature, but it's nice to know that you still have it with the Companion as well. And that's the adjustable hitch head height. We can actually adjust the height of the skid plate here so we can make sure our trailer is as level as possible. Now this is important because not every truck is going to sit the same height, and not every trailer is going to sit the same height either. So having all those combinations out there, it's nice to know that you have the adjustability to get everything level. Now another adjustment we get with the Companion, in addition to the hitch head height, was one that pretty much no other fifth wheel hitch has, and that's the ability to adjust the center line of the kingpin in relation to the center line of the axle. You can adjust this either forward or backward of that. This will be further explained in your instructions there, but it is a nice little feature if you really want to fine-tune your setup, because again, we mentioned there's all kinds of different combinations of trailers and vehicles on the market, so being able to position everything right where you want it is overall going to make for the best towing experience. So another thing I really like about the B&W Companion, it is very easy to install. This is certainly my favorite fifth wheel hitch option for more than one reason. The ease of installation is one of those. Now to start your installation, what you're going to do is you're basically going to remove any covers or anything you have in the puck system or the gooseneck ball in your truck bed. And then we're going to take our base here, you're going to unlock the handles so the pegs are all facing out, and then you're just going to drop it into position. Now once you do get it into position, you may or may not be able to close these handles. Sometimes you actually have to adjust the tension. So if you can't close the handle, you will have to make some adjustments. But if you can close it and it's too late, or too loose rather, you'll need to make some adjustments as well. So this is very easy though. I wouldn't worry about this too much. You can see we have a castle nut here with a cotter pin. All you do is remove that cotter pin and you just slightly tighten that castle nut if you need more friction, or loosen it if you need less. Reinstall your cotter pin, bend it back, and repeat that process on all four sides. It's that easy. And then next, once you have the base in the truck bed here, you'll be installing your pivot arms. So these are what the pivot arms look like. These physically attach the hitch head to the base. Now there's going to be 4 bolts on the inside to install your pivot arms, but there's tons of adjustment holes in the base here. This is where we talked about earlier that you can adjust the distance from the bed to the top of the skid plate, or the distance from the center line of the kingpin to the center line of the axle. You can configure these pivot arms in a number of different ways depending on your specific needs. So make sure you reference the instructions. There's a nice diagram in there that shows you exactly where to put these things depending on which setting you need. So once you have the pivot arms on, that's pretty much the home stretch of your installation. You'll go ahead and lube up the bushings on the pivot arms there, so it's a little bit easier to get your head on and off. Then you'll just simply sit your head into position, and at that point there, you can install your handle. There's only 2 bolts, and then you have a leveling mechanism spring that gets bolted on, and hit on rather, with a clamp to the pivot arm at the back here. But that's pretty much it. You're ready to roll down the road. And that's going to do it today for our look at the B&W Companion OEM fifth wheel trailer hitch here on our 2021 Chevrolet Silverado 3500.